I'm Kristen Busquet, and I've been a full-time creator for over 3 years, and I've brought in over $350,000 from sponsored posts and content creation collaborations with brands so far. Social Scoop is the podcast where we teach you, the entrepreneurial creator, to turn your online influence and creativity into a profitable, self-sustaining business. Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 107 of Social Scoop Podcast. My name is Kristen, and as always, I'm so excited that you're here. I'm even more excited today because if you're watching on YouTube, let me tell you, this whole process of getting it set up just took us a solid hour. And it was one of those situations where, like when you're so upset, you just want to take your phone and chuck it across the room. That was me this morning. But I'm here and I'm so excited to finally be here and have our setup ready to go. What we're talking about today is something that honestly has changed the way that I approach social media and made me enjoy it so much more. I don't know about you guys, but there came a point in the last few months for me where I just felt like so defeated by social media that I was not really excited to show up anymore. I was not really excited to think of new content ideas. I would go to make a video and I was like, I just don't even like this video, like leave it in the drafts. And I was posting really what I felt like I had to be posting because of what I was seeing working well for other people. Or I was like, ooh, okay, well, if this is what everyone's doing, like, let me try that too and see what happens. And it got me into this cycle of, honestly, I guess it was kind of burnout. I really just wasn't excited anymore. So I actually did something that I haven't done in a really long time. And actually two things that I'm really excited to share with you today that I hope you can also try and see how it works for you if you're feeling the same way that I was feeling. I want to give you the backstory on how I got to this point and kind of the process that I went to start making these changes that I've recently implemented. I have a friend, her name is Harley Jordan. You guys have probably seen me post about her on, my stories and things like that. And she has a program called Do Less Club. And so as someone who loves Harley and everything she does, I was like, do less? Like, yes, sign me up. I would like to do less and still have a great business. And so I joined her program, and it is essentially just a really great group of people, creators who are looking to build sustainable businesses that they actually enjoy and can keep up with. And what I love about this group is there's a lot of like group calls. So essentially when I was on one of these group calls, I'm talking to Harley and I'm just like, dude, I feel so lost. Like, I'm just not excited. I feel honestly kind of sick of it. Like, I want to quit. And I had even at a certain point been starting to apply for like full-time jobs because I was just sick of having to post on Instagram, if I'm being honest. And Harley said to me, okay, show us more of you. Like, I want to see more of you. She knows I love dogs. She knows I love reading. And she was like, you need to show us more of that. Like, show me the dogs. We don't need a tip every day from you that's like this tip that we can probably find from everyone else. Like, she said, I want to see your perspective. And it really got me thinking, I really don't share a lot of my life and my perspective that's not separate from my business, right? Like, a lot of what I share on my page was like hacks or tips or things like that, again, that I saw working well. Like, if I look up my content pillars on TikTok and I look at the top videos, that's the kind of stuff that I was posting. Like, oh, here's how I, gain these followers, or here's how I pitch to a brand. And it's just such like vanilla content. And that's why I was not excited. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking about the stuff that you post and you're like, man, I really am posting it mostly because everyone is kind of telling me to, I would challenge you to go through this process that I went through. And so I really tried to think about, how can I make a change where I am almost selling more of myself, like as a coach, a social media coach, but also as a fashion creator, as a beauty creator, as a home decor creator. Our niches are all so saturated. There's so many creators that are home decor or fashion or food creators or whatever it is. What really makes us different? And it's us. Like, it is me that makes me different from every other coach. It is you that makes you different from every other fashion creator. It's your experiences. It's your personality. It's the things you do every day, the way you wake up. Like those are all the things that we should be sharing. But I think we shy away from it so much because we're like, it's not about us. Like, I want to provide value. Like, I need to give the tips. I need to give the styling tips. I need to give the recipes because it's not about me. It's about providing value. And this is where the shift really happened for me. I realized that me sharing my experiences and me sharing my perspectives on things is not just about me, it is valuable. I'm sharing me because it's really great to be relatable and let people in on my life. Because again, I am the secret sauce to my business, just like you are to yours. And so when I started sharing more of myself, I had to make this shift in my head where I said, that's still valuable. People are going to hear about my perspectives and my opinions and my experiences, and they're going to be able to take things from that they're able to pull and say and think different ways or experiment with something new or be inspired to try something. And for so long, again, I just didn't think that was valuable. Now, since I've started changing the way that I post and sharing more like kind of B-roll videos, sometimes the video has nothing to do with what is actually being talked about in the video or in the audio, I guess, of the video. Ever since I started sharing that content, my engagement's been up, my views have been up. I've sold more memberships than I ever have before. I'm better connected with my audience than I ever had before. And this is a change I started making maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago. This is a very quick change that I've seen and quick results that I've seen from making this change. And when you think about it, it makes sense because with social media, I think right now, a lot of us listening right now can agree we really are craving connection. You know, like we want to feel connected to other people. It's social networking, right? Like we want to socially network with people. We want to get to know people. And when everything on Instagram was like so value driven, like very vanilla, very like it has to be perfect to put out. I think we really lost that and stopped feeling like excited and connected. Like we felt like we had to put on our Instagram face to be able to post on Instagram, right? And so I'm really happy that I made this change. Now, to wrap all of that up and kind of bring it back to what I think would be really great for you to learn from my experience. The name of this episode is how doing less made me a better content creator. And it sounds very counterintuitive, right? Because like you're doing less, like how are you doing better? And the things that I implemented were basically these kind of 4 different concepts, right? First things first was creating content that I actually like creating. I love social media. I love being a creator coach and I love sharing all of this business advice with you guys. It's one of my favorite things to do, but I hated sitting down in front of my camera and just like doing a talking head video where I was kind of just like, here's this tip that I'm going to share with you today. Smiling, everything is great. My hair and makeup's done. Everything is perfect. I really hated that. And like, I was not excited to do that. So I started creating content that I actually liked creating. And as you'll see from looking through my Instagram or my TikTok now, it's a lot of B-roll footage where I'm like playing with my dogs or, like showing my day in the life or, like showing you dogs that I'm walking because I do a lot of dog walking, which is again something that people recently have learned about me. And I started sharing content that I actually was like excited to create, but also content that was very sustainable for me to create. It was stuff I was already doing in my day. I didn't have to like go out of my way to create this video. It was just, okay, set the camera up and then do what you were already going to do. And that brings me to point number 2, creating content that is easy for you to create. You do not need to reinvent the wheel every single time you post a piece of content. That is not sustainable. That is a recipe for burnout. You're going to be miserable. You're going to run out of ideas. It has to be easy for you to create. So a lot of the time with the concept of my video, what I'll usually do is I'll say to myself, okay, what is something that I want to share with my audience today? Like, what is a thought that I had when I woke up this morning? What is a conversation that I had with one of my friends or a fellow creator or a student of mine? A conversation that I had that I might be able to like share with other people that might be valuable. So I get those concepts of what I'm going to share just based on like things that I'm thinking about. Like, it's almost kind of like more of like my video journal on my post than it is like, here's a valuable tip. And so that's made it really sustainable for me to think of content ideas. When it actually comes to creating the content, like I said, I typically will set up my camera when I'm already doing things that I wasn't going to be doing. So a lot of the times what I'll do, because I want to remember throughout the day to take clips, I will set a reminder on my phone and I'll say, remind me every 2 hours to take a video clip. And so if I, get halfway through the day and I'm like, oh crap, I haven't taken any video clips, that prevents it from actually happening. So every couple hours, I'll get a notification. It's like, hey, Kristen, don't forget to take a clip. I'll set up my tripod, whatever I'm doing. I'm like, cool, let's take a clip. Super easy. The third thing is to create content that actually connects with my audience. And I think this was like a huge turning point. This is probably one of the most important things. When I was sharing content, again, it was very much like, here's a tip. And I think a lot of, fashion creators, beauty creators do this. They might be like, here are 5 of the best dry shampoos for you to try. Here's how you can style a leather mini skirt. Like, it's very much like instructional tutorial, and you give great information, and that's amazing. But you get really stuck on the information and you never really think to like incorporate things that are going to feel relatable to the person that's actually watching it. And that's a huge problem, right? Because the whole point is like, we want people to connect with us. That is the point of social media. And so I started to think about what I could say in this video that maybe I had a concept. How can I take that concept, make it relatable, maybe tell a personal story with it, and then see how people react to that. For example, one of my members in Soulcial Suite, we had a conversation on one of our date night calls. We basically all get together on like a Zoom call every couple of weeks, and we just talk about things that we're going through. And she is a travel creator. So she had said to me, Kristen, I'm not traveling right now. Like, I don't have any good, like, here's how you pack, here's how I'm planning this trip, because I don't have anything in the works. So I'm at a loss as to like what to share. And so I said to her, why don't you just share that? Like, exactly what you just told me. I'm struggling as a travel creator because I don't have any trips booked. Here's how I feel. Here's how I'm coping with it. Like, here's things I'm struggling with in my business because of it. And those are all things that I think people will be able to, first of all, connect with you better, but also they'll get something from that. Maybe other people who are watching that video, they are also a travel creator and they're feeling the same way. Like, man, I don't travel every single week. Like, what am I supposed to do in the meantime for content? And so I told her, make a video like that with like travel B-roll footage as the behind as the actual like video content. Or maybe she could like take videos of her like looking like she's writing in her journal or working at her computer and having a voiceover of her telling this story about like what she's struggling with. Those points of struggle, of celebration, of things that you're learning are all really good things to share with your audience to make your content more relatable. And when people feel more related to you, they feel way more comfortable purchasing things from you if you are someone who sells a product or service. But they're also so much more inclined to stop and look at your post and read your caption and comment on it and really start to get to know you and become your friend. And the more we can kind of encourage our audience to feel that way, the easier it's going to be to grow your following. If that's your goal, the easier it's going to be to boost your engagement rate. More people are going to be, clicking on things that you're sharing for partnerships. Everything that we need to do to be, quote, successful as creators comes from connection. So whenever you can share things that are going to help you connect with people, 10 out of 10, I say do it. And the last thing here is to really let go of the shoulds. And this is something that we had actually, again, talked about in a Do Less Club meeting. What are the shoulds that we feel as creators we should be doing? Like I should be posting, a reel every single day. I should be, using a high quality camera to film my reels, like not my iPhone, God forbid. I should be making sure I respond to every single comment immediately after it's posted. There's so many things that we're taught as creators through, again, like different coaches or through videos we see on YouTube or on TikTok or whatever it might be. And there are so many almost unwritten rules for us. But realistically, to build a sustainable business, it is so incredibly difficult for you to follow all of those rules. And they're not rules that need to be followed. So I really challenge you to this week, think about everything that you tell yourself. If you're going through your content planning process and you're like, oh, I should be posting one reel every day, listen to yourself every time that you say I should be doing something. And then ask yourself, okay, is that really necessary? Like, do I really need to do that? Is it detrimental to the health of my business? Because if not, throw it out the window. Most of these shoulds do not need to be mandatory in the way that you run your business. The biggest lesson that I've learned from implementing all these changes has really just been to make social media feel easier for me. It has to feel sustainable. It has to be something that I feel excited about, or I'm not going to continue to do it. So if you're feeling burnt out, if you're not feeling excited anymore, that means it's time for a change. And these are some changes that I've personally implemented, but I think that they could definitely be something for you to keep in the back of your mind as well. If you listened to this episode and it really resonated with you, please let me know. Send me a DM. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. Let's have a conversation about this. And I hope to see you guys again next week. Bye.